I'm Mark Sumwalt. I'm a past president of the North Carolina Advocates for Justice, and with me today is a living legend, Ebbie Bailey. Ebbie attended literally the very first meetings of the North Carolina Academy of Trial Lawyers 50 plus years ago, and she is the wife of Alan Bailey, who passed away in 2007. Ebbie, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the North Carolina Academy of Trial Lawyers, which is now the North Carolina Advocates for Justice. You remember not only the early days, but literally the very first day, just about, don't you?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I started driving him everywhere. When our boy finished high school and went off to college, he said, "You're free now. Every time I go anywhere, you be ready and go with me if you want to." So I didn't ask where we were going. It didn't matter. And one night we were going to Winston-Salem. It's hard for people today to believe this, but I sat in a car outside at night by myself till, say, 11 o'clock, 3 or 4 hours, while he was inside with, all I knew later was Gene Phillips and Jim Clunks. Was it Jim Clunks? Those two is all I knew about. And they talked about this organization. I think I drove him back one other time there. And that was the beginning, so far as I know, of the academy, as we knew it then.
And I think there were 5 in the beginning.
5 in the beginning. The others I learned later.
And that was Charlie Blanchard
Yeah.
and Bill Thorpe, is that correct?
Charlie's the only one left.
Right. Okay. And what was your involvement with the North Carolina Academy of Trial Lawyers
Lord,
in the very
nothing
beginning?
but a driver. I remember that I registered the first, what we call convention, I guess, at the old Charlotte Hotel. Lord, it was the coldest winter day you've ever felt, and that hotel was very old and inadequate. I remember getting in the car and going home at lunch and getting a blanket to wrap my legs up, to sit at that desk and just write your name down and where you were from.
How many people were at that first
60
convention?
is
60?
what I remember. I don't know whether there's any records that disputes any of this. I don't know, but that's what I remember. I don't know about the next one or how long. I think I remember we had only one seminar. Does that sound right? A year?
That is probably right in the
And
beginning.
I think we had it in December when the courts would be closed for Christmas, a long 2 or 3 weeks. They would figure it in because, you know, this thing had to grow in concept. It had to be sold to the lawyers. It was a new idea.
Right.
And they just didn't take the days and time off like you all do, those trips you've made to Raleigh.
But eventually the convention started being an annual event.
I remember the year Alan was president. It was at NC State, right on, almost on the campus at a little motel, one of these long motels this way where you drive right up to the door. And that's where the convention was. I wish I could remember how many people, but I don't remember. But he did not go to that one. He was in the courtroom and I went. That was my first one by myself.
But you have been, of the 50 some odd conventions, you have been to every single one.
Every
Is that
one.
correct? And I think Alan missed that one.
He missed another one at Myrtle Beach, at a hotel downtown Myrtle Beach. I know where it is. I think it's still there, but I do not know the name. But I went to it. It was, and I didn't know right many people at that one. Right. It was a little bit lonely, I think I remember.
Tell me about your observations of kind of the evolution of this organization, what you have seen and what has interested you.
It's unbelievable. I think the thing that hits me most of all is the dedication of you guys and gals to this organization. It's almost like it's your family. You really pour your heart, soul, and money into it in great numbers. What we got, maybe 4,000?
That's correct.
That's a lot more than 60, right?
A lot more than 5 too, right?
Yeah, 5, that's right.
Now, you were involved with the establishment, or at least there in the beginning, of the Allen Bailey Endowment also, is that correct?
Yeah, that's been unbelievable. I know he did not expect that. He just left the money for it to be used and what they needed it for and what he trusted them to do what they wanted to with it or needed. And he certainly didn't expect it to do what it's doing. I'm so excited about them choosing young lawyers who could not come. I won't say would not. I think their interest is there or they wouldn't be there. But the ones that get to come the last 2 summers, and I've already seen where they're coming this year.
And you've been able to interact with some of these new.
Yeah. And it's been a fun thing. I've watched your children come in the world and grow up, right? That's a great thing. Right. Bill Horsley and, where's he? Reedsville. Had 2 little tiny girls. One of them has 5 children, triplets, in there, and I saw those girls grow up. And yours, it's just been exciting to see the families come together and where they've gone and the interest all of you have and just real deep love. I knew Alan had it, dear Lord. He loved that academy, as you know. He loved it. Nothing came before that except his family and his church.
Right. Well, Ebbie, you have been an inspiration to me and almost a second mother to me, but Mike tells me that I'm not the first person who's had you as a second mother. There have been others in this organization whom you've been very, very close to. And if you want to say a few words about some of those individuals that you have had a wonderful friendship.
Well, many of them, like the Horsleys, those little girls were sweet and they'd write me notes in the summer or at Christmas. And others, John Warlick's family at Jacksonville, from the early days, they came to meetings when there was not many there. So these people stand out, of course. Of course, Howard Twiggs in the later years, we were very close to. Alan and Twiggs, I think they ran every thought by the other one as soon as they thought it, because they spent a lot of time on the phone. And, I've had a lot of time to think in these last years, and I do things like you do your boy to keep my mind, and I'll sit down and write the past presidents, and I can name them all.
Is that right?
First time I did it, I left one out, and I'm not going to tell you because he was a good friend. It wasn't you.
What are your observations about NCAJ today? I mean, here we are today, 4,000 strong versus what you observed in the early days when you were 5 strong. Obviously, we're bigger, but what changes have you seen or what observations do you have?
And I haven't really kept up with the changes. And I've always gone to the April meeting at Southern Pinehurst till the last 2 years. And I've always gone to Mountain Magic till last year. And I read Danny Glover's letter in our magazine. And he was so excited about that trip, and I thought, I have missed something great. Danny, I'm going to get on you for reporting that so glowingly, because I really felt I should have pushed and gone.
Do you plan on being at the convention this year?
Oh, if I can walk. As good as I did today, and that's poor. But I plan to. Have to see my friends again.
Well, Ebbie, on behalf of the Academy and NCAJ and so many of its members, we want to thank you for your time and your devotion to this organization and for your friendship to so many of us. Thank you.
Well, Mark, you have been an example to me. I wonder how many times you've called me on the road and you were going to something for this organization. You just take that 1 minute and then check on me. And I appreciated the call to me a lot, but then I was so thankful for your dedication to the organization and how you have put unbelievable time and money in this place, and lots of others, right?
Lots of others.
And you meant so much to Al in that last year. I don't know if I ever told you, but he didn't have the air capacity to visit with people. He loved to talk to young boys about their future, particularly those interested in law. And many called, and he just didn't have the air capacity to talk. And people would call to come visit, and he just was not up to it. But always, I could tell how he felt. He'd say, call Mark and see how busy he is around lunchtime and fix him some soup. And I know I fed you many of a lunch. I've learned now what you eat. I didn't feed you the things you enjoyed, but you came and put up with us, and it meant a lot to his last days. Love. I thank you for that.
Well, I thank you, Ebbie, and I wasn't just calling to check on you, and I wasn't just calling to visit. From a selfish standpoint, I was also learning an awful lot about life.
I really didn't know you that well then, you know?
That's correct.
Our friendship has come mainly since he left. You've not let me be alone or lonely. You've been a real sweetheart and sharing your family with me. I appreciate that.
It's been a symbiotic relationship, and I
Thank you.
can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me and everything you've done for so many people in this organization.
Well, they're special, like I say. And I've got to watch this new president-elect coming up.
He's going to be a good.
Maybe the Lord will leave me here another year and I'll watch him.
We sure hope so. Thank you, Ebbie, very much.